What up, YouTube? It's your boy CEO Tone, and I'm back with another episode of Streets on Music. And these type of episodes, they never fun when you have to give a critique that's not so favorable on maybe one of your favorite artists or an entrepreneur that you admire. It's never easy, but I have a responsibility to my subscribers. I have a responsibility to the culture, and I have a responsibility to my craft. I take this serious, and I try to give the most unbiased take, the most unbiased opinion that I can. Sometimes it's entertainment, sometimes it's content. But in situations like this, when certain lines of disrespects are crossed, I have to hold everyone that's involved accountable, and I have to give an honest take. First, I'm gonna start with Fat Joe. I'm born and raised in the Bronx, so Fat Joe for me is one of those pioneers. Him and Pun were our biggest representations of Latinos in hip hop growing up in the Bronx. So he's someone that I would always admire and respect. And we have to realize that no one is perfect, and everybody's trying to navigate this podcasting and streaming and content creation world. You know, everybody's trying to do their best, and everybody's trying to win, and it's competitive. And as we know that Joe's competitive. However, you know, he crossed the line when he invited the whole dirty sector to his private parts. He crossed the line, and as a fan, I was disappointed. I was disappointed because I've been around Joe. You know, he has a company that he co-owns called Rewind to 10. I did marketing project for Rewind to 10. And I've been around Joe. And Joe has been nothing but humble, nothing but friendly, respectful, carried himself like a don. I have nothing negative to say about Joe in any interaction that I've ever had with him, ever. 100%, bad in 1,000. We know where Joe comes from. We know he comes from the streets. We know why they gave him the name Joe Crack. We know that Joe has never backed down from any beef. We know that Joe has discovered many great talents. So I gotta be fair in my critique and my assessment. But when Joe invited the whole dirty sector to his private parts, me personally, that's not the version of Joe that I want to see. And that's not the version of Joe that I have seen in the past. So I want to get into this Vlad interview, and I want you to hear it from, from Joe himself. The severity, especially in New York, we all from the hood. We know that when you invite a man to your private parts, you want violence. That's the ace card. That's the one that, you don't use that card unless you want to go there, unless you want to crash out. And I want y'all to hear from him the seriousness and severity of saying SMD.
What is it in New York? I feel this is a New York thing. What is it about the word suck my dick that gets people so riled up? I don't understand it.
But you say it, you know what I mean? You tell another man, suck my dick.
What does that even mean, though? That's like...
That means suck my dick. That means it's a different type of thing, bro.
But that don't even sound appealing.
Right,
like, you know what I mean? Like...
disrespectful shit. They invented the saying.
Like, yeah, he sucked my dick.
I mean,
give me a high five.
Not justified.
Okay.
Not justified in court. No, you can't go to court and say, yo, he said suck my dick, so I killed him.
It's some jail shit, right?
I'm going to be honest with you. If somebody told me suck my dick right now in this hallway or something like that, I would stab him up or something right now. Like, I'm just being honest with you. I would really, really hurt this
Those
guy.
words are that serious to you.
There you have it. Those words are that serious. They that serious that Joe says, if somebody in this room right now said that to me, I'd probably stab him up. So for Joe to get on a platform like Joe and Jada, which I have coined the corporate floor, just like he says we are the dirty sector, I coined, Joe and Jada the corporate floor, right? It's an aspiration that we all have, a level that we all want to get to. Everybody who's in this content creation space, I would hope you would want to be on Joe and Jada's level. I would hope that you wouldn't want to be in the dirty sector, just giving your opinions all day. I would hope you would want to make some real content. It's like hip hop. When 50 Cent made How to Rob, that's dirty sector. But 50 was able to overcome that. The door that you enter in, the floor that you enter in is not the floor that you want to stay on. Well, for me, I don't want to be, dirty sector forever. I want to elevate. I want to get a podcast deal. I want to do high level marketing because I have the capacity to. We know not everybody, some people are going to stay in the dirty sector, but I won't be one of them. But it's where we all came from. We all came from the dirty sector, Joe included. So let's get into the actual clip that caused all this controversy. And when you hear him say it, you realize immediately how out of pocket and disrespectful he was. And this is not the Fat Joe. This is not the version of Joe that I want to see as a fan. And this is not the version of Joe that I've seen when I was around him in person. Not even close.
When you look at these podcasts, everybody's dissing your mother, you this. They feel like that's the only way to bring the views up. We even got my brothers doing rap battles over podcasts and shit, right? So everybody feel like the way to the promised land is everybody dissing each other. All right, Kiss. Unfortunately, me and you, let's go, chose to be the Harriet Tubmans of the game. What the fuck? I mean, you're not listening. We the Underground Railroad. We are here to preserve the culture. We are here to give people flowers. We are here to do this positive. I don't know if you turned around, nobody wins positive. That's why when you watch the news, they be like 10 people killed today. You watch. All these other rap hip-hop podcasts, they got you believing it. They got to diss each other and diss people and doing all that to get
leave the dirty section
views.
alone.
No, they ain't the dirty section.
But I'm telling you that the same thing you saying is what you doing to the dirty section.
No, fuck the dirty section.
Let them get they back.
No, they call my mother Leslie. Fuck them. We not even talk. You want me to leave the dirty?
Yes.
All right, I'll leave them alone.
Let them get their
That's
back.
what you want me to say?
Yeah, leave them
They
alone.
love this shit. They feel like they get acknowledged.
Yeah, but it's
A big
another
boys
way to
watching.
acknowledge them.
All right, I ain't going to diss
back.
Don't diss the dirty section no more.
Those my.
Okay, that's it. We move on. No more AI, radio, no Good Morning Vietnam.
Leave them alone.
Fuck you niggas and suck my dick, nigga. I'm going to chill for Kiss. Listen, nah. That's going. Listen.
So when you hear it, right, you hear how bad it sounds for you to say that, especially being from New York, knowing the ramifications of that. We all human. I think Joe was having a moment. I think in an obscure way, he was thinking like, yo, I'm giving them promo. You're not giving promo, Joe, but you are creating content. But the content that you're creating is going to lead to a negative narrative. It's going to lead to a not so favorable narrative for you. So yeah, you're creating content and we're going to talk about it. We're going to address it, but it's not promo, right? It's content with a negative ramification on you just because you decided to use those words. I think everything else was cool. And he even tells Kiss, like, yo, you want me to chill? I'm going to chill. Fist bumps Kiss and everything. And then gets go ahead and says the SMD. So it's definitely disappointing. It's disappointing when you look at Joe as like a marketing genius and you look at Joe as one of those guys that like, you know, legendary status. And then, you know, he says this. I definitely want to give a shout out. I see everybody, you know, everybody in the sector giving shouts out to Kiss. I want to give a shout out to Kiss myself because he has evolved so much from, you know, the Kiss that we used to hear on the records. He's like really a mogul now. He's really one of those guys, you know, and I'm excited to see what his next levels are. And he does tell Joe like, yo, you know, the same thing you talking about you doing to the dirty sector, just leave them alone. And for the most part, the guys that are getting the views and the guys that are leading in this space, in this hip hop commentary New York space, don't even bring Joe up. They don't even talk about Joe at all. So that's just one of the interesting parts. There's a lot to this story, guys. This is not over by any means. And I'm waiting to see, you know, what are going to be the ramifications of this. We're yet to see, or maybe it smooths over, because although Joe said that, and normally when you say that, there's no going back. I think that this is not rap. You know, to all the pod rappers, this is not rap. This is content creation. I think that a sit down can still be had. And I would like that sit down to be between Fat Joe, Jadakiss, and Harlem Legend. And Harlem Legend is the other person that's involved in this. Harlem Legend, if you've been living under a rock, is, you know, the premier guy when it comes to hip hop news. If you want to listen to someone who's unbiased, if you want to listen to somebody who just delivers the news in a cultural format, you should be looking at Harlem Legend. And Harlem Legend, in fact, although we never met in person, he sent my video that I made. I made a video about him, China Brim, and Hassan Campbell being on Vlad. I was so hyped that they were on Vlad, and I made a video about it. And Harlem Legend actually sent that video to China, which subsequently led me to working with China and being on the 050 platform. So shout out to Harlem Legend. That's the exact opposite of gatekeeping. Respecting someone for their craft and their potential and sharing the video, which led to an opportunity for me. That's the exact opposite of gatekeeping. That's the exact opposite of dirty sector. So the things that Fat Joe is accusing the dirty sector of, somebody like Harlem Legend doesn't do. And you're going to see in this video, because Joe says that somebody disrespected his mom. God bless his mom. Somebody said that, he said that someone disrespected his mom. It wasn't Harlem Legend. It wasn't 050 the movement. So who was it that dissed your mom? And you could see Harlem Legend immediately says, I don't do that. Shout out the boy Harlem Legend. Let's get into his video and his critique of Joe's remarks on the Joe and Jada show.
And it's lights out.
Yeah.
It's back to the roaches when you put the lights on and shit. I gotta keep it all way tall with y'all. So that's the second time Fat Joe spoke on the dirty sector. You heard? If he don't watch us that bad, why are you speaking on the dirty sector? I told y'all, keep your eyes open. He's trying to deteriorate others from wanting to rock with us, from seeing what we doing over here, seeing the progress that a lot of us have made coming up out of this dirty sector. Yeah, because I definitely I don't make 500 a month, homie. So I definitely made progress. He doesn't want to let us in that door. He's the one standing in front of that door with that key. He didn't stop there, y'all, because things got very disrespectful. Because now he's inviting everybody to his private parts. And it seems like Jadakiss checks him. Yeah, leave them dudes alone, man. Like, why you keep talking about them? You doing the same thing that they over there doing.
Pay attention to what Jadakiss has to say, because I appreciate what he did. I appreciate what he did in shutting down the bullshit. Pay attention, y'all.
Ain't the dirty section.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, the same thing you saying is what you doing to the dirty section.
Facts. Facts. Pay attention to this, y'all, because this gets nasty.
No, fuck the dirty section.
Let them get they back.
No, they call my mother Leslie fucked up.
So I hear something. Joe was about to get into something, and he said, God bless his moms. He said something about his moms. I don't do that, right? I'm going to say that right now. I don't do the disrespecting, going into people's family members, things of that nature. I know this dirty sector could be crazy at times. Dudes be doing the most. But I do not agree with that at all. I got to be honest. I do not agree with disrespect to anybody's loved ones, anybody's parents. So I don't know who he's mad at, but he's mad at somebody, and he's trying to make the whole sector suffer. But what he don't know is this could backfire. The same thing happened to Mav Hoffa. This could backfire very fast.
We not even talk. You want me to leave the dirty?
Yes.
All right, I'll leave them alone.
Let them get their
That's
back.
what you want me to say?
Yeah, leave them
They
alone.
love this shit. They feel like they get acknowledged.
Yeah, but it's
A big boy's wife.
So by you disrespecting the dirty sector, they feel like they get acknowledged? I don't know what weird way is Joe thinking, but he's out of pocket, y'all. He's out of pocket, dog. I got to be real. He's disgusting. This is disgusting.
Challenge them.
All right, I ain't going to diss
back.
Don't diss the dirty section no
Nah,
more.
those my.
Okay, that's it. We move on. No more Aeon, radio, no Good
That's
Morning
it, yeah.
Vietnam.
Leave them alone.
Fuck you niggas and suck my dick, nigga.
What?
Don't diss the dirty section no
Nah,
more.
those my.
Okay, that's it. We move on. No more Aeon, radio, no Good
That's
Morning
it, yeah.
Vietnam.
Leave them alone.
Fuck you niggas and suck my dick.
You see, the disrespect goes to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it sure did, man. But I definitely want to give a shout out to Harlem Legend for how he reacted and his response. And hopefully Joe sees my video. Hopefully Joe seen Harlem Legend's video. And he, he could take a lesson from Harlem Legend and, the way he responded and his representation of the dirty sector. Joe and Jada sounded like the dirty sector, and Harlem Legend it sounded like the corporate floor, if you ask me. So shout out the boy Harlem Legend for, salute to you for responding in a diplomatic way, for using your words, and for expressing yourself, and, for making your platform, look good and shine at the end of the day, because that's what matters. Y'all got to remember, men talk, boys fight. Was Joe out of pocket? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is one of those videos where I have to keep, the people that I admire accountable, for the things that they do because of the integrity of the platform. And, we don't want to be dirty sector forever. We want to hit that, we want to hit those plateaus. And, we look up to Joe, we look up to Jada. And when things like this come out and you have to give those unfavorable critiques, it's somewhat difficult when you're having a platform and when you're creating content. But this is your boy CEO Tone. This is Streets on Music. Listen, make sure y'all liking, make sure y'all subscribe, and it's free. It don't cost nothing. I want to thank all my supporters and all the new subscribers. I'm going to keep working hard and give y'all the best content possible. This is your boy CEO Tone. This is Streets on Music. And let me know what y'all think. Was Joe out of pocket? Let me know who you got in this debate. You got Harlem Legend or you got Fat Joe? And let me know why. Make sure y'all put it in the comment section, all right? It's CEO Tone, Streets on Music. Blakata.